welcome back to the rest of the story. I'll tell you right now, it might not be the smoothest of rides for you guys because the camera mount I got, I just secure it to this bracket with a bolt, and the threaded part of the mount is actually being pulled out, so I might put some super glue on it or duct tape it real heavy, but I'll get it figured out. So it's field work time. Now it's not exactly, like tillage or anything as fun as that, or planting or cutting hay, but it's something that does need to be done, and I had every intention of doing this from the second that I picked up this farm. We are, if you do not know, we are down in the valley. I have this place for the foreseeable future, and when you do know that you have it for an extended amount of time, you definitely have no problems going ahead and putting fertilizer down and putting the inputs down, because I know that I'm getting my money back. The plan is to really fertilize it with this dry fertilizer behind me. I did not bring the sheet with me. It's not a fancy mix, but my plan is, it's April 1st. This is not a joke. I'm going to hit it with this field ground. There's 45 acres. I got 50 acres worth of product for 45 acres of actual ground. I'm not planning on going down to the bottom because I do not know how soft it is down there, and I am worried about the river flooding yet. We are in a flood warning. There are, I believe, 2 different places besides here, between here and the river, and the river has not gotten out of the banks yet, but it is level with the bank about halfway between here and the river. So that bottom ground isn't a guaranteed thing as to whether or not you can make it. I mean, last year when we made it, what was it, the end of August, 1st September, that was actually the first time that it actually was dry enough that you could have gone and done it. I guess it was flooded earlier in the summer. I don't know, because I wasn't around. I wasn't running this. A long story that we're not going to get into as to how I acquired this place. Unfortunate how I got it, but whatever. After we go through, hit this with dry, gonna let this do its thing. The stuff you'll see as we get going here. This field is really greened up in the last 2 days. Today is Wednesday. I was down here Monday, and this whole field was brown. Between the rain and the warmer days and getting up in the 50s here, I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I just passed. There was some girl riding her horse in shorts and a t-shirt. I really don't think it's that warm out quite yet, but to each their own. Well, I don't like getting cold, so maybe people can just handle it better than I can. The ground is a little soft yet. I do have the front wheel drive engaged. I'm not going to be going mock chicken. I'm probably going to run this at, 2,000 RPM to get 540 for the spinners. And then I'll probably only go about 5 miles an hour or so, simply because I don't want to tear the field up when I'm turning, and I can slow down on the turns, but then not going too fast where you're cutting in, because I don't want to do any tillage down here. I do have one ditch that is formed from last year that I'm going to bring the disc down. I'm going to work it in and then go through, and I'll just bring the drill down and I'll just seed it in. This ground will never be row crops. I had it before we even were doing this online thing. I think Ryan actually has either some footage. I know he does. He has footage. I ran this farm back in 15. I had it in beans, and it'll never be row crops as long as I have it. This is a hay farm. It's actually providing feed for my cow herd that is gradually growing, and it also is being watched very closely as far as my cost of production. This is $1,500 of product behind me. I have an Excel sheet on my computer. I keep track of everything that's going into this hay, everything that I'm planning on as I'm feeding my cattle, whatever hay goes to my cows, and I'm going to be watching what I'm selling it for, how much I'm selling, and the tons that it's being sold at. So I'll probably do a voiceover. I'll try to. We'll see how this goes. There's rain like right there, so maybe instead of talking, maybe we should just get going. Engage. Got the power takeoff running. It's the nice thing about a digital tach, it'll tell you exactly how fast you're running. That's 540 at 2,000 RPMs ish, plus or minus 50 RPMs. So I do have my SCV1 is back and working again. I put all that money in the 76 and we're going to start getting the money back out of it. I'm going to go ahead and gauge it. All it does is put a drive wheel onto the back end there, and the belt's running. Nothing's coming out the back end yet. I don't have a compass. I'm doing this old school as far as knowing where to drive, so it's not going to be exactly perfect, but there we're going. That's 11th gear, 5.6 miles an hour. Wasn't planning on it, but it sounds like Ryan is planning on spreading some fertilizer out of his place on the pasture. So that was really unplanned for us. Now we gotta wait for him to bring another load of fertilizer. The plan was they just brought it with the truck. I was gonna run this out and they were gonna come and get it right away. But that's not the case anymore. 5.5 miles an hour. This is really heavy. Even with the tractor, 19 speed power shift, and I was doing a lot of downshifting. Even I was down about 16th gear. So I do believe this tender is pretty well full. So I'm looking forward to making this ground this year. It's a lot less stressful not having it in row crops, just because this ground does have a lot of gumbo on it. Literally, when you're chiseling it and you're cruising right along, working up the soil just fine, and then you look back 30 seconds later and the chisel plow is out of the soil and skimming across the top of the ground because the gumbo just kicks any tillage tools right out of the ground. Andrew did offer to let me use a compass, so at least I could straight track. But at the time, it looks like it's going to start clearing up. It wouldn't mind me if this did get some rain on it. But I thought I was racing rain at the time. This is the ground that the landlords told me, it's as long as the rent is paid and you can cut it, you can have it. So I do intend on doing that. Basically, if I can cut it and bale it, it'll make feed or it'll make hay that I can sell. I'll obviously be selling the best quality stuff, and ideally we don't have any of the lower quality stuff at all. But that is kind of a perk, right or wrong, having my own cows or buying my own cows. It's kind of played in line with why I went and bought cows like I did when I picked this place up, because I knew I had an abundance of feed available. So any of the lower quality stuff that isn't exactly perfect, and you know that you just be giving it away if you take it up to the sales barn, I can feed to my cows and get my money out of it that way. But I'm really watching cost of production, more so than I was several years ago. It was just, hey, go ahead and do this, this, and this, and send me a bill. You really need to know what your costs are and what your ability to actually, what your money is actually bringing back when you're spending it. And this is probably the roughest part of the whole farm. It did wash a little bit, and this is probably part of where I'm gonna just run the disc, smooth it out, and then then go ahead and plant it. Just run the drill over it. So I wasn't planning on doing this today. They say I really don't have any desire. If anybody's wondering why I don't go across the bottom and spread some fertilizer, when it floods, I'm taking the previous should be playing with the Alright, now how I wanted to end this video, but nothing tragic or terribly bad happened. But I'm heading back over to start over again, because while I was busy talking to you guys, my engagement, the wheel that engages the belt, the chain in the middle there, the tire was not making firm enough contact and was only running about half the time. It was running the whole time across here, as far as I could tell, but as soon as I got down the far side where all the weight was on the other tire and not this one, I imagine because of all the weight on the back, it's squishing it enough or whatever where it was running. But I can't even sit and talk to you guys now because my camera mount finally gave up. That's all it is. This is just press fitted into the bottom of this handle here, and I'm a few miles away from home, and it's really not worth me going up to the farm and getting this fixed, because I need to get this done so I can go start running GPS or running the field boundaries and get that done. We need to get the corn planter out. We already pulled out the grain drill and the rakes so we could start working on some other stuff. I want to get that sprayer done. And that's just kind of a mild recap of everything I need to do, but let's face it, this camera shuts off and I can focus solely on what I'm doing here. I'm going to have this run out fairly quick. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you do not know what to like, or if you do not want to like, make sure you subscribe. If you do not want to subscribe, make sure you leave a comment. As far as that comment that you'll be provided with, what's the earliest you've ever seen machines in the field? That's a pretty broad question. So I'd try and make comments so at least everybody can be involved. So I think that works. I mean, what's the earliest you've ever seen machinery working in the field? So I'll talk to you guys later.